I'm Tim Kitzrow, and you're tuned in to the Important Nonsense Podcast with Steve Bonham.
Attention, Alan Hearn's mom. His knee is better. You can stop worrying.
Neil Smith.
Even with the concussion, as long as he's cleared, probably don't have a better option.
Jack Kavanaugh.
Raheem Mostert, as I would like to call him.
And Jason Draven.
Nah, man. Just let's watch some football.
Ooh, boom shakalaka.
All right, welcome in, everybody. It is the Important Nonsense Podcast, a very unique Important Nonsense Podcast. If you're watching along on the video version, which is releasing the exact same time as the audio, then you can see everything that's happening. And if you're not, go do that. Go to our YouTube page and watch everything that's happening. So you can see everybody that's with me here. Of course, I'm joined, as always, by Neil. Neil, say hello to the people.
Hello, people.
I'm joined by Aiden Ware again. Aiden.
Hey, nice to be back, guys.
Jack Kavanaugh.
Hello.
And Jordan McDonald.
How's it going, everybody?
All right, so we have the five of us here. We also have five other staff members from Important Nonsense, and we will be doing a mock draft for everybody. It is 12-team PPR, and it is the same rules we normally go by. 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 3 wideouts, a tight end, flex, kicker, and defense with 6 bench spots. So the number 1 pick is going to be auto pick. The number 12 pick is going to be auto pick. And I am going to spin the wheel here to randomly assign everybody else their spots. Good luck, everyone. Random. Mark. Okay, so Mark gets the number 2 pick. There's a lot of spinning on that wheel. Let's see, so I can adjust Mark. Up to number 2. Is there any particular pick you're hoping for?
No. I guess number 3, yeah.
There you go. And as he says it, Jordan ends up in the number 3 spot.
Lovely.
Okay. And I'm at 4. Okay, that's interesting. I don't think I actually claimed the spot yet, so I'll do that. It's really thinking about it.
Wants to.
There we go. All right, Mason. I kind of hope that Neil, Aiden, and Jack all get put right next to each other.
Oh, great. Well, here it comes.
Mm-hmm.
Start it off.
Neil again.
Here's the beginning of it. All right, so Neil is up.
You would give me 6. You know, the site
6.
knows it's the one I don't want. Like, I'll take anything except I hate being right in the middle.
All right, I think you still have to claim a spot.
Oh, yeah, I do. I'll do that right now.
So you can just claim 6 because that's available.
Oh, Bucks brought in another kicker. Titans kicker Ryan Suckup. Breaking news on the kicker front.
Breaking kicker news.
Kicker front, eh? That's seems like a useful thing to be subscribed to.
Huge numbers on kicker front. Huge numbers.
I need to claim that name before anyone else does now.
Yeah, kickerfront.com. This won't air for a few days, so you've got time.
Own that domain name.
Yeah. All right, so Matt landed at 8. That's fine there.
Can we talk about how sad I am about that Le'Veon Bell article that came out?
Have you seen the picture, though? Like, they're saying he looks out of shape. He is not out of shape. The guy is jacked.
All right, there's Jack right there.
I think 2 things can be true, right? Like, he can be not as explosive and still be jacked.
That is true.
He can be physically in shape and still not in good football shape. Yeah.
But at the same time, remember in Pittsburgh when it was, oh, he's such a patient runner, really follows his block, sets it up, and now it's, oh, he's slow behind his blockers.
All right, Aiden, you've got the 11 spot.
Claimed it.
All right.
I think Gase is just looking to get rid of Bell, and he's talking badly about
No.
it. So the fans don't get upset.
No, Adam Gase run a running back out of a franchise? You get right out of town, sir. I've never heard such slander in my life.
They're going back to the Balaj and Gore buy committee.
Yes, exactly.
You'll love to see it.
Because it's all Adam Gase can do. It's all he knows.
Mix in a little bit of LaMichael Pirine. Good to go.
Yeah.
I wish I can make as much money as Adam Gase makes and be as bad at my job as Adam Gase is.
I've been saying for years I went to the wrong field. I should have gone into either coaching or meteorology. It's the only place that you can just be consistently wrong and doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. All right, starting the draft. So just for the audio listener, in case you weren't following along with that, the number 1 and number 12 picks are auto picks. We have Mark Baker from our redraft team picking 2nd, Jordan picking 3rd, I'm picking 4th, Mason from our waiver team picking 5th, Neil at 6, Kevin from the redraft team at 7, Matt from the dynasty team at 8, Jack 9, the nerd 10, and then Aiden 11. So here we go.
All right, let's see what Mark does.
All right, so huge shock. Christian McCaffrey goes 1. What do you guys think about McCaffrey at 1?
Rigged. Rigged.
We would have had to start this whole thing over if it was like Mahomes.
Oh, where do I want to do this? There's only 2 options I'm looking at here.
So Saquon went number 2.
Yeah.
Again,
Just because it's PPR, I'm going to go the obvious choice.
Kamara. Okay. I like it. So that leaves me with an easy
Clyde
choice.
Edwards-Helaire.
All right.
Oh, shocker.
How don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby?
Yeah, we all know the nerd's going to take him at 10. Like,
No, well, we talked about this because the last time that we did a mock that Aiden put up on the website earlier today, I believe, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yep.
sir.
Matt ended up getting CEH like late in the 2nd round because nobody wanted it. So now he's actually in the back end of the 1st round when he kind of should be going according to ADP. So hopefully that's what he does, or he uses this to his advantage and takes CEH in the 2nd round again.
well, if I think he'll go the auto drafter at 12, we'll take him because he's near the top. So I think that they'll just
Right.
take. So if nobody takes him in the 1st out of the actual drafters, he'll just go to the auto team.
Good point. The auto picks last time messed with us, which is kind of why I wanted him to bookend here.
The Dalvin Cook pick, I think, is pretty interesting. I don't know.
Is it?
So you guys know me. I'm the biggest Dalvin Cook truther. Took that victory lap. You guys are welcome if you drafted him last year. But
Didn't keep him in the Golden League though. Threw him back. I don't know.
the reason is because of what I was about to say, which is the that report that came out from Adam Schefter. And I was just wondering if anyone else was worried about that, about how based on the CBA, like they have to report to camp, but they can do the hold in thing. And if Dalvin Cook doesn't have a contract, Adam Schefter tweeted out that he'd be very concerned drafting him in the 1st round this year.
Well,
Because
so
there's
that
a
was
chance he's not going to play.
that report was Adam Schefter, the fantasy football player, not Adam Schefter reporting it as news. So it's important to remember those 2 distinctions. And he
Yeah.
did say that when he made the quote. So I'm not really worried about it. I think the Vikings are going to give him a contract. But it's the same thing with Joe Mixon. He has migraines.
Right.
Maybe he has migraines. Maybe he's just not playing right now. So
Yeah, that's kind of just scared me off of both those guys because they're going so high in drafts. And
well, have you seen Kamara's tweets too? He keeps tweeting subliminally like Stephon Diggs used to.
God.
I'm sorry for what I'm about to do. It's like, is he going to hold out? I don't know.
I don't know.
That's
Maybe
good to
he
know.
means he's sorry what he's going to do to opposing defenses. I don't know. You don't know. Like, also take that evil out of here because I have Alvin Kamara in a keeper league, a long time keeper league. I'm counting on Alvin Kamara. All right, so you don't put that into the universe.
Just as we say it, Joe Mixon off the board.
All right,
Okay.
Jack's going to take Jonathan Taylor.
Matt's looking to repeat a strong performance
am
from the
not.
last mock.
I am taking Mr. Derrick Henry because he is
the
going
only-
to catch
The only
more
correct
passes.
choice.
Yeah.
So after I took Zeke, there was
Josh
Dalvin
Jacobs
Cook,
instantly.
and then Michael Thomas, Devontae Adams, Joe Mixon to Matt. Jack took Derrick Henry, and then Josh Jacobs to the nerd. And now it's Aiden for basically back-to-back picks because he's got the auto in between.
There it goes. Wow.
And there it is. There it is. The two picks none of us would have taken.
Nobody
DH
wants
and
it.
Tyreek Hill
Yeah,
to
good.
the
Get
auto
outta here.
pick. Good. So Julio goes to Aiden.
I hate these running backs so much.
Why do you hate running backs?
I hate these running backs.
He wants to take Diggs here.
For those
but
of you not
he
playing
knows we'll
along,
make fun of him.
He's referring to Miles Sanders, Kenyon Drake, Austin Eckler, and Nick Chubb and Aaron Jones. So send your hate mail to @FFAware.
Yes.
Send all the hate mail because you just poo-pooed like everybody's favorite toys on the internet.
Well, if you read the Don't Draft list today, you understand my hatred for Austin Eckler. Kenyon Drake, I think, is going to be a bigger committee than people realize. Miles Sanders, I'm not convinced is that good, honestly. I was rewatching his game film, and there's some times where he just misses wide open lanes for him. Nick Chubb, I like a lot. I just feel like this might be a little early in a PPR league for him. And Aaron Jones, I'm a little down on because it's going to be a committee. And, he did it on 19 touchdowns last year, and I just don't see that happening again. So
I can get behind all of those statements except Nick Chubb, who you'd be getting at RB10. I can't support that statement. Everything else I was fine with.
Settles
And
with Chris
I w-
Godwin.
Now, I would be shocked if the nerd doesn't go Chubb here and just goes Jacobs Chubb.
I don't know. He's got Eckler right there, too, though.
Oh, that's true.
Kelsey.
What? This guy. Okay. All right.
Okay,
We don't
well,
really have a drug testing policy and important nonsense, but I might have to implement one in the off season here. It's not
Agree.
normally
This is the third draft where the nerd has done some whack-a-mimi, just weird stuff. The first
All right.
two-
Well, now I got to believe that Jack goes with his boy, right? I mean,
Nick Chubb. Yeah, I would have been comfortable taking him instead of Derrick Henry. I made the right choice taking Derrick Henry, but I'm not upset if I take Nick Chubb there. So, yeah. This is an easy pick for me. Stack those running backs.
That's a good one, too.
Okay.
I'm thinking this is either Nuke or Kenyon Drake coming back to Matt.
this is very interesting. I like how this board is shaken out.
Miles Sanders.
Sure.
Another robust running back.
I thought that might be where you went. That you're that high on Miles Sanders that you might take him over Chubb.
I am much higher on Chubb. Well,
Okay.
much. I'm like 3 or 4 spots higher on Chubb. I have Chubb.
That's fair.
I rotate between Chubb and Dalvin Cook as my RB 6-7 pretty often. And I've got Derrick Henry RB 5, obviously.
I think I'm going to be okay here with my pick, but I think Neil's going to put me in a rough spot.
I'm so happy not to be picking near Neil again. It's like we've done 2 other mock drafts. We've been too close.
Oh, well, that makes my life
So
easier.
Kevin
'cause
goes with DeAndre Hopkins.
I was actually wrestling with that a little bit.
So he's got Nuke and Adams to start his board. So that's a decent start for him. So Neil already has Michael Thomas in the 6th spot. And you have to start 3 wide receivers.
Don't tell me what I have to do.
I'm not. The rules are telling you what you have to do. Does anybody know what this like sleeper best available is based on? Is it ADP?
I think it's ADP.
I believe it's
Yeah, I think
ADP.
so.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely not points.
Yeah.
Neil.
I'm gonna have to pull the trigger on it.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
on it.
See, that's what I was saying. He was my running back choice.
I'm gonna have to pull. I'm gonna have to do it.
Yeah.
So it's
So you put me in a tough spot.
yeah.
Aren't you worried
Taking
about
Ken-
that? Aren't you
taking
worried about
Kenyon-
that walking boot?
Well, for
No.
the purposes of the actual audio, people who are actually listening to this and aren't looking at what we're saying, I select Kenyon Drake with my second pick. He'll be my starting running back. And in a league like this where I have to play 2, but I have to play 3 wide receivers, I will survive with Kenyon Drake. I am not overly worried about the walking boot because I also fully intend to overpay for Chase Edmonds here at some point to make sure that you get them both. So that would be my strategy with owning Drake this year. I'd argue if you're going to go that route, you have to have them both.
Completely
Because Drake-
agree. I was just gonna say, I completely agree with you, especially given the coach speak coming out of training camp about Chase Edmonds and Kenyon Drake. They don't seem to think he can be a bell cow, and this is the second coaching staff that didn't think he'd be a bell cow. I do
Look
think
at
it's gonna be
Jack's. Look at Jack's face because people can't see the video. Jack hates everything that we're both. Jack is dismissing us and judging us so hard. It's hard to He's just looking at the sky, looking up, no, Neil and Aiden are morons.
No, I love Kenyon Drake. I'm a big Kenyon Drake fan.
I'm a fan of the talent for sure.
Yeah,
I
me too.
just- The workload is a concern.
Right, which is why I feel like
Yeah.
you need them both. You're gonna have to do it, and as long as you get them both, I think you'll be more than fine.
I really do think they're going to lead the league in plays run as well. So there's more than enough meat on that bone for both those running backs to
I'd
eat.
say there's every chance you're right about that.
Yeah, that's definitely fair.
They want to do that.
It's
So
not like
whether
an
or not they'll
Alexander.
make it.
It's not like an Alexander Madison situation where he's probably not going to play a whole lot when Cook is healthy. It's no, these guys both have 15 carry, 20 carry upside.
Steve takes Mike Evans. I like that for where we are in the draft.
Yeah, Mike Evans is my number 4 wide receiver
could
in my
get Mike
PPR
Evans.
rankings.
I was
So-
locked
Mike
in with
Evans
him, so.
so late.
So to get him at wide receiver 7, I feel pretty good about. Right after me, Jordan
I
got
went Eckler.
Austin Eckler with
I
Alvin
kinda like
Kamara.
Eckler a little bit better in PPR now because now that Mike Williams is out, I think he'll get a lot more of that target share.
Right.
But we'll see. And now I'm up again. Mark went quick with DJ Moore, and that's exactly who I wanted again. So that's another wide receiver that just got plucked for me.
Yeah, he got Galladay and DJ Moore back to back. So I love
Yeah.
that combo he put together there.
To go with Saquon, he's looking great as
Yeah.
3 picks in.
Oh my god, I'm not liking what's on the board here.
Wrapped in a glass case.
Well, I mean, this is the tough spot to be in because I still see two guys on the board that are in my top 10 at wide receiver.
I think I'm just gonna take one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, there
who
goes
I
one.
wanted.
There goes one. Yep.
So I could take another top 10 wide receiver here, or given the size of the league, I could go running back to try to avoid the cliff. When it comes back around, yeah, see, I feel like you still have Kevin, who hasn't taken a running back at all, and Aiden. So there's going to be at least 2 running backs that go off the board before it comes back to me. So I'm just going to take.
Oh, do you have this? Sorry. Yeah, that, because that was literally what I was about to do. So I hate you.
So I've got Zeke and Todd Gurley to go with Mike Evans, and I feel really strong about that start.
No, that's really good. You guys run the player profiler earlier about Todd Gurley. I love Todd Gurley this year.
And it's hard not to like Todd Gurley this year.
Oh, the internet seems to find a way.
You have to really look for ways to not like
Washed.
Todd Gurley. Exactly.
Washed.
And there goes Carson.
Here's the
So
cliff.
now it's on Neil.
Some decent options available. Well,
There's
There
still
are
a
still some
again.
good
There's still a
options.
couple okay running back options
Mhm.
to be your running back 2, but I'm very concerned for the outlook of Kevin and Aiden's team with no running backs right now.
There are. And
Yeah, I might have a choice to make if it keeps going like this.
I am going to do what I love to do.
But come on, you
more
could
than-
have James Conner. He's a top 10 talent if he's healthy.
Oh,
Oh, Robert Woods. Okay.
Robert Woods is one of 2 wide receivers on the board that I was like, I might have to go with third receiver if they make it back to me.
Yeah, and Robert Woods is too much of a value per my rankings to let go here.
Same.
There's probably no way he was coming back to me, and to pair, I have to play 3 wide receivers, and when you're starting with Michael Thomas, for me, this is the way this is going to go.
Yeah.
Michael Thomas, Robert Woods, and I'll figure out the rest as we go.
I figured out that we at Important Nonsense love Robert Woods, so every time we do these mocks, he never falls to me. He always gets
Robert
taken.
Woods will never fall on an Important Nonsense mock. There's too many truthers. You'll never get around.
But I know in every other draft I do, I'll probably have a ton of Robert Woods share.
I'll own Robert Woods in any league I play that isn't run by Important Nonsense or affiliated with it. I'll own him in every one. And I'll love my life all season.
And even some of the Important Nonsense leagues, like this one.
Yep, even
Yeah.
a couple. Yeah. Kevin's going to have to go running back, yes, because he's got Nuke and D-Hop. So he's got
Well, I mean, he can, or he can just dominate wide receiver.
– that's fair. There's a couple
Right. I
decent
mean,
wide
right
receivers
now
still
he's got my
available.
number 3 wideout in Adams and my number 5 wideout in Hopkins, and Cooper Kupp is my number 7 wideout and is still on the board.
You have
Got
Adams
Cooper
down
Kupp.
at 3. Wow, why do you hate Devontae Adams?
Because he loves Julio Jones.
Okay, fair.
Julio Jones
Well,
is my number
hold
6
on.
one.
For the record, I do not love Julio Jones. Let's just get that out there publicly.
How do you not love Julio Jones?
Over history, he has burned me several times, so it's hard to love Julio Jones. But this season, we have an understanding
Oh, yeah.
that I am willing to be all right with Julio Jones.
Oh, Kevin's going to time out in a staff mock. Kevin, no. Don't do it. Oh, he made
he
it.
took Juju.
He made it. I think I pickled him with Robert Woods.
Yeah.
And Matt goes with
I pickled him.
Lamar.
And to be fair, Juju was my second highest wide receiver left available. So
Ew.
what compared to everything else out there right now?
There's one guy that I think is.
There's a couple
significantly
decent.
better.
Cooper Kupp is still out there. Calvin Ridley's still out there. It's a little early for that. Same with A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf, but they're still out there too. There's some decent wide receiver options out there still.
There's
Wide receivers deep.
there's
Such a deep
2
position, which is
Running
why,
back is about to go off at a complete and utter cliff, but we don't talk about that, right?
and especially because I am going to take a running back because wide
You're
receiver
gonna
is
take
so
James.
deep.
You're gonna take James Conner. You're gonna do it.
No, I don't. I will never draft James.
We talked. Somebody brought it up. Look at why is James Conner the best running back available on Sleeper? I don't understand. They've got James Conner ahead of David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell, Leonard Fournette, Jonathan Taylor. Why?
Because his ADP
Why?
is 22.5 on Sleeper.
Okay, again, why? Like
Yeah.
what?
End of the
why?
second
Like,
round.
Why?
unpopular opinion. I would take James Conner over Jonathan Taylor.
Well, I'm not taking either. I am taking Uncle Len, Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, that's smart.
That is smart.
Smart.
So now my running backs are Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, and Leonard Fournette through 3 rounds. I really did think about going receiver, but there's just
Who wants
so
to hear my
much
Leonard
more.
Fournette stat for the 400th time this offseason?
I do.
Because that's a good one. Over the last 3 years, only 3 running backs have finished every year top 12 in points per game in PPR. And it's Zeke, Alvin Kamara, and Leonard Fournette. There you go. You're welcome.
There goes James Conner.
Why?
So this
Because it's
is
the nerd.
Why?
Oh, I do not like his team at all.
I'm gonna start sending him hate messages on Discord in a second here. Like,
So this is where your boy finds himself in a bit of a predicament, because Adam Thielen is still there, and I have him as a top 10 PPR wide receiver. Y'all are Adam Thielen is good.
look,
at football,
if
that's
your
all I'm
analysis is
saying.
to boo people picking Juju, then what did you expect back?
Well,
What were
the
you
difference-
expecting in return?
The difference between Juju and Adam Thielen is Adam Thielen's good at football.
Oh,
Is he?
hashtag analysis. Hashtag analysis, my friend.
I don't have Adam Thielen in the top
Good
20,
God.
let alone the top 10.
Why do people think Aiden's got like a rage problem on the internet? I don't understand. Why do they? I don't understand. Such a
My
nice
thing
person.
with Adam Thielen,
I ca-
is it doesn't feel good, but I feel like you have to have him in the top 20 just because he's gonna get fed targets because that Vikings defense got worse, and he's the only real receiver there. Like Jefferson's still running with the second team, so it's like,
Yeah.
he's gonna get fed, and it sucks, but it's a good pick.
I'm gonna have to take David Johnson just because I need a running back.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
Adam
then-
Thielen made it back to me.
He did.
I am
Melvin Gordon,
happy.
Le'Veon Bell both go.
Oh,
Apparently,
yes.
Sleeper isn't aware that the Broncos lost their right tackle, and Melvin Gordon is dealing with a rib injury he picked up in camp, and he's been signed.
Hey,
he hasn't
they
been taking
signed
any
DeMar
reps.
Dotson now. They have DeMar Dotson. They're okay.
They actually did that.
Yeah, they signed DeMar Dotson.
They actually did that. Okay.
But back to Thielen for a second. I just, unlike other like kind of slot guys who have to like Juju Smith-Schuster, for example, who
Sure.
kind of had Antonio
First so
Brown.
early.
DJ Chark over Cooper Kupp and Calvin Ridley. I am so.
He did this. He did this in the last mock as well.
He's a truther.
So you know
Calvin
he's gonna go.
Ridley-
He's gonna go Gardner Minshew fairly soon as well.
Yeah, no one went Gardner round one. Where's our
Disappointing.
I could buy Bud Light if I really wanted it, which I don't. So
I hope somebody in one of my drafts does that. I really do, because that means it's gonna be an easy win.
if somebody in our drafts, one of our drafts, I will mock you
Oh.
for the rest of time, like mercilessly.
So it's really tempting for me to go Jonathan Taylor here.
I know.
Though I can't play
I know.
him.
You know he wants it.
You know I want it. However, I
I
can't.
mean, you
play.
got the upside, though.
Yeah. It's between that and making the smart decision and taking a receiver.
Especially with a couple of decent receivers still available.
There's a
hand.
ton of so good receivers I like.
Yeah, in PPR scoring right now on Fantasy Pros, the ADP for Adam Thielen is wide receiver 14. So for you to take him at 13 is not absurd, Aiden,
Well,
No,
compared to the rest of the industry.
It made more sense when you got David Johnson first, and then he came back to you.
yeah.
Mhm.
And again, I was just gonna
Out.
say there we have these like moments of fantasy where a team loses like an all-star receiver that like pulls the number one coverage, and then the next guy up just can't handle that.
hmm
Thielen can. He's done it when Diggs has missed time. Adam Thielen is a legitimate like top 20 route runner in the NFL per Matt Harmon's perception. Gets open, good hands, makes insane catches in the end zone. Like Adam Thielen's a legitimate, like not top tier, but top end wide receiver.
Had to let you finish that rant, and I drafted Odell Beckham Jr. He's my wide receiver 8 right now. I think he's going to get fed targets with Baker Mayfield. He's healthy. He's looking good finally. But this doesn't mean I hate Jarvis too. I love Jarvis as well. Both of them are undervalued.
Agreed. That's great value for Odell Beckham. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
fourth
agree.
round. Okay, I'll take it. Cooper
I'm
Cup
also
goes
very high on
immediately.
Cleveland players this year as well. Like I agree with everything you said.
Cooper
Uh,
Cup goes immediately after me with Odell Beckham.
And Kevin takes Mark Andrews.
Kevin's is going no running backs.
He's going 0 RB.
Yeah, 0 RB.
I thought he was going to take Jonathan Taylor, and now I'm making decisions. It's like I was like, that's never going to be real. So I already knew what I was going to do, and now Jonathan Taylor is like sitting here in my lap, like, I never thought he would get past Jack, and he did because Jack's got all the running backs.
It was hard. If we had an extra flex spot, it would have been an easy pick. But
Yeah, but I need a second running back, and we're starting to run out of options. There's
We're talking about
effectively
Singletaries
two.
on the board. It's right
Oh
there.
yeah. There's 2 running backs on the board that I like right now.
Rojo is still available.
so high. I love
And
it.
There's
So high.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, I got to go running back because there's like 4 or 5 wide receivers that'll come back. That could come back to me. It's just the way the board's shaking out. We're gonna do it. Give me Taylor. Bring it on home. Jonathan Taylor is my RB2. I love it. Love my life right now at running back. Kenyon Drake and Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah,
You
like
not
we
hear that he's dropping
Kate on will be good.
though now. You're not worried about that?
No, not really.
That was never his role on the team. So
Not a thing I worry about.
He's not Nyheim Hines. It's
uh,
Nyheim
His role on the team is to get 250 carries and average 6
There you
yards
go.
per carry on them.
And to at some point freight train some corner that is dumb enough to try and tackle him and end up on Sports Center.
Oh yeah. Good thing Jalen Ramsey's out of that division now, because he'd be making some business decisions.
Try it once and then like never again. I don't never again. I don't want that smoke. Cortland Sutton, I like that. It's a really solid choice. That's a good pick to go with Mike
Yeah.
Evans.
He was my best wide receiver available at
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah, I'm doing the same. I'm doing the exact same move.
Calvin Ridley, I like that too. He was
Yeah.
on my. I almost took him over Jonathan Taylor. There goes DK, David Montgomery,
And
the auto
AJ
pick.
Brown. Lockett. Back to Jordan.
Now, I'm going to say something that's going to probably disappoint you guys. I am not as high on Scary Terry as everybody else is.
Well, you're wrong.
I know, but
Jordan,
I'm tempted
that,
to take him here. I know.
that doesn't disappoint me because I'm the guy picking behind you. So if you don't want to be high on Scary Terry, you go right ahead.
Yeah, you go ahead and take T.Y. Hilton.
I mean,
How dare you?
it's stupid. I'm just saying that I don't feel great about it.
Unbelievable. All right.
Here's this guy that I hate. I'm going to draft anyway. Just to
No, I don't
spite
hate him.
Steve.
I know.
Just to
Let's be
spite.
clear. I don't
No,
hate
it's
him.
not-
I just don't think he's. I don't think he should be going as high as people think he is. But
So I have my tier 3 of wide receivers. It goes from Kenny Galladay at 10 all the way to Calvin Ridley at 21. And to me, in the projections, all of those guys are basically a coin flip.
Same.
That all of those guys could finish anywhere in that 10 to 21 range. And they're just part, like, so I'm fine with you taking Ridley because that's your guy. He definitely could finish top 10, top 12. And he could also finish down near 20. Same thing for McLaurin. He's in that same cluster.
McLaurin's good at football.
So now,
An Aiden analysis.
exactly. McLaurin was going to be my pick for sure. But now there's just so much value at wide receiver still. I don't know if I should go back to running back.
take your boy Hilton. Just do it. I know you want to.
I really do want to. But I'm going to go ahead. I feel like this is the perfect spot for me to take my other boy. Where is he at?
We know it's not Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, it's Stephon Diggs. Boy, this is a tough call. You know what? I'm just going to take T.Y. He's my best available. I'm just going to take T.Y.
Trying so hard to not swear at you. It's very difficult.
It is what it is.
Very difficult to not swear at you.
If I was going to go running back, I was going to take Mostert. Mostert, as Jack would like to say.
Raheem Mostert.
Because I believe in that offense, it is a three-headed monster, and it is going to be divvied up, but I feel like the workload is getting kind of overblown. The idea that the whole reason he has so much PPR value is because he's the only one of them that is really the guy in there on third down catching passes. Laid it out multiple times last year. So
There goes Mostert.
and there he goes. That's what I was saying.
Mason has
Like-
entered the chat. Well, for me, this now becomes pretty easy because all the wide receivers that I wanted somehow got sniped. And so we've circled back around, but somebody decided to foolishly leave me Mark Ingram here. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do, because as I've gone into it at length many times on this format, I'm all in on Mark Ingram one more season. Rental car. Take the last of the treads off the tires. J.K. Dobbins will get involved.
Kev finally takes a running back, takes Cam Akers off the board.
That can't feel good as your
Your
running back one.
RB1? No, not at all. Ooh, and I am on the board after
Keenan Allen just
Keenan
went.
Allen.
That's such good value on Keenan Allen.
I was thinking of taking him at my fifth pick, but I had Austin Eckler, and I just wouldn't feel comfortable playing both of them every week.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised Keenan Allen hasn't seen the yearly Hard Knocks bump. Like, I feel like every year on Hard Knocks, some player gets bumped up a lot.
It's because he's not fast. People just
He
hate him
doesn't-
because he's not fast, and it's
He
like
doesn't need to be.
I know.
I've been watching hard. He made Chris Harris, a top tier cornerback in the NFL, made him look silly this week. Like
He
I
just
mean,
puts
just
everyone through a blender except for
Puts
Derwin
him-
James,
I know.
who's
He-
elite. But to get back to the draft, I am going to take another elite receiver.
Oh!
No.
Oh, there it is.
Oh.
I'll be honest, I was thinking about that over Ingram because he's still sitting there.
that was going to be my next pick.
I know it was. I know it was.
And all the important nonsense mocks we've done, not once have I been able to get Stephon Diggs. And it
There goes
bothers
Hollywood
me.
Brown, the nerd. The nerd finally makes a pick I like 5 rounds into the draft. There you go. That makes sense.
I don't
So-
hate his pick of DJ Chark, just where he took him.
That's well, given what his other options were.
Right.
Hey, I liked his Josh Jacobs pick.
Yeah, I was just saying, I like Josh Jacobs as well. I don't think that was a bad pick.
In round, he made
Yeah.
it the right in round 1. And
But I feel like that was an auto pick. You know what I mean? Like that. Like if he didn't log into the session here, I'm pretty sure it would have auto picked him Josh Jacobs. Like that was best available.
Actually, it probably would have been CEH. Hilarious enough, but
True. That's true.
So I'm thinking between two running backs here. I'm looking at Devin Singletary or Kareem Hunt. And since this is full PPR, and I don't think Devin Singletary gets involved in the passing game, if you guys read the Don't Draft list, you read all about my love for Zach Moss. So I think in the 5th round for my RB2, I will take Kareem Hunt, he's going to have standalone value.
Mhm.
Yep.
And if something happens to Nick Chubb, I don't think anyone would argue that Kareem Hunt's a top 10 guy. So that's my pick.
And Devin Singletary goes to the CPU, followed by Darren Waller. Aiden, back on the clock.
Wow. So the auto pick for the computer took Darren Waller over Zach Ertz.
yeah, that's interesting.
I wouldn't do it, but I don't hate it. What do you guys think?
I've had
I
this
could
Zach
live with
Ertz
it.
discussion like multiple times this offseason where the big 3 is clearly now Kelsey, Kittle, and Andrews. And I feel like 5 through 15 is sort of like a coin flip. And I feel Zach Ertz is in like this purgatory at 4 where he kind of floats in between that if everybody in Philadelphia got hurt again, and he just had a ridiculous amount of volume like he had in the second half of the season, that all of a sudden he could be back near that top 3 level. But at the same time, he could also fade into that 3rd tier with everybody else in the 5 to 15 range, and it wouldn't shock me at all.
What also is you can make the argument that you can get so much better value out of drafting Dallas Goedert late.
Right.
Like I know I would rather have Ertz than Goddard. Let's not be ridiculous here, but you don't have to burn a high draft spot.
Yeah,
to
but
get
all
Based on
things created equal, you'd rather have Ertz, but given
Yeah,
their
of course.
ADPs, you'd much rather have Goddard, and I agree with that.
Aiden just took a dagger to my heart. And
Oh, I was waiting for something like that. There we go. DeAndre Swift.
that was payback for me drafting Diggs because DeAndre Swift was coming to me
All right,
on
and
the way back.
He was the last one in my 5th tier of running back, so
Yeah, I
that's
like.
a good pick.
I was thinking DeAndre Swift or one other player. I just think DeAndre Swift. I like Kerryon Johnson, but he can't healthy. Even when he was healthy last year, he didn't look great. And I think this is DeAndre
not
Swift's
bad.
job.
Michael
I think it'll be a
Gallup, that's not a
60-40
bad
split with
choice.
DeAndre Swift.
I don't hate that. Michael Gallup in the 6th round is a little early, probably a round early for me, but I like it.
I like Michael
Where
Gallup
he's
a lot
at.
too.
I was taking him next, so that.
Well, you're having a rough couple picks here, huh? Like,
Yeah, that hurts quite a bit.
Well, that's what happens, man.
It is what happens. And
Live by the
so,
month.
based on ranking, I should be taking Jarvis, but I'm not going to because I also have Odell. Instead, I'm going to take the player I have ranked 1 slot behind him on the receiver list in Marvin Jones.
Well,
Well done.
Mhm.
that makes sense because he was never coming back to you.
No,
It's not an
And
important nonsense venue. There's too many Marvin Jones truthers on this call.
no. And like I said, I would prefer Jarvis Landry, but I'm not taking him and Odell. I don't really feel like stacking them and Baker in this league. So when I'm looking at the receivers that are left after Marvin Jones, we've got Devontae Parker, no thank you. AJ Green, no thank you. Will Fuller, Julian Edelman, Tyler Boyd. It's just a mess, and Marvin Jones just is head and shoulders above all of them.
I can see that.
Speaking of Jones truthers, Ronald Jones off the board.
Sure. Ronald Jones goes to Matt as his third running back with Miles Sanders and Joe Mixon.
Sony Jones,
Yes.
Dare White. Yeah, Ronald Jones is going to get 200 carries, and it's going to be ugly, and he's going to be an back end RB2 off volume alone, and I hate it.
I still just don't see any way he doesn't lose the job.
No, not at this point.
I can't justify drafting. I adjusted my rankings yesterday.
Kevin, I really hope you listen to this, because, buddy, you just saved me this huge, horrible conundrum. Because I'm literally sitting here deciding between AJ Green or Jarvis Landry. So AJ Green goes to Kevin. I immediately run to my computer and select Jarvis Landry to be my third wide receiver. And there we go. Thank you for saving me from myself.
You would have made the right decision by taking Landry. I think
I would have taken Jarvis anyway, probably, but they're right next to each other in my rankings, so I'm literally looking at it like, I could flip a coin, I guess. But no, in my heart, I know I'm going to end up with Juice, just because he's been on my team for so many years in so many formats.
Russell.
Wilson.
Russ ahead of Dak.
That's interesting.
I feel like Steve's going to take my guy.
Sure.
Like Steve's going to take whoever person I'm going to want.
I don't know.
He likes to do that. He's quite
It's
adept
possible.
at taking
So what?
things that,
So my guy right here, it's a PPR format. There's still a bunch of wide receiver talent I like, so I want to get some running backs. And the guy that is getting extremely faded in PPR that I don't understand is Tariq Cohen. Because all he has done every year in the Matt Nagy offense is finish at least as an RB2. And he has increased his target share every single season. Last year, he had 104 targets. He was second on the team behind Allen Robinson. So I don't understand why people seem to think that like David Montgomery is going to somehow get more involved in the passing game, or maybe they just think the Bears are so terrible that Cohen won't be used at all. But
I think that's by the way.
I mean, even if he doesn't get he doesn't get very much run work, but that's fine. In a PPR league, I'm fine with taking the guy that's a primary pass catcher, and that's Tariq Cohen.
See, you had me in the first half when you were saying all this, because this is who I thought you were going to take.
Oh, I was waiting for it. I was okay.
Yeah.
I was literally looking at the board. I'm literally looking at the board like, where's James White? Like,
I was sitting on. That's my boy this year. I love James White this year, especially
stupid computer. You would do that to me, wouldn't you, computer? You
Marlon
would.
Mack.
I'm with you.
Nah,
I
I
want
don't
Marlon
like
Mack.
It's not so much the Marlon Mack. I wanted JK to handcuff to Mark Ingram, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
You hate to see it.
But they got them both too, which is also just so special. You don't sound like you hate to see it, Jack. You sound like you delight in it, to be honest.
Well, I mean, to my point, Tariq Cohen was my 24th wide receiver, James White 26. So I have him in the same neighborhood. Like I said, he just gets so much guaranteed volume. And the only reason I faded James White a little bit is because all the love for Damian Harris, and they seem to believe that he is going to be able to do the whole job at some point. And that when James White is done in the offseason, that it's just going to be the Damian Harris show next year.
I have read about that, but I can't see the Patriots doing that with one running back because they've never done it. So, and like James White, it's so safe, such a safe option, like better than Michelle, better than anything else they have. But yeah, and Damian Harris is going so low. So yeah, like that value is tremendous. But I think James White is such a steady option every year, especially in PPR.
100% agree.
So I am going to do this just so I have my quarterback, Dak Prescott, who.
All right, good. And if we're talking about running back value,
Zach Moss off.
That
Perfect.
is early.
perfect.
I feel like that's injustice.
Steve, he wouldn't have gotten back to you.
Yeah, I'm aware of
Really?
that. That's why
I
he
don't even
just
think
came
he
off
would
the
have got
board.
to you, Jack. To be honest, given what the auto picked into me, I don't think he was. I don't.
He was my last running back available in tier 6. He was the best running back available on the board. And now I've got 4. And now I feel pretty decent about my running back room and
All
can
I'm
load up
hearing-
on everything else.
All I'm hearing is that you all love the player profiles and the don't draft list. And I'm just going to stop writing for important nonsense because I feel like that's what happens.
If you're saying that my picks are based off of your articles, then all I'm hearing is you haven't been paying attention to us this whole off season, and I am offended and hurt.
I want to take credit
All right, that's fair.
for your amazing team.
Yes, that's fine. Neil's fit of rage, by the way, is because Mason just took Brandon Cooks 1 spot ahead of him.
Yes, it was.
Will Fuller's still on the board, I think. So
Yeah, there you go.
Good.
Texas passing offense.
Oh, lovely.
I was just about to say, for
Yeah,
people
according
at
to the
home-
industry, it's a coin flip between them, Neil. Why don't you go ahead and...
Yeah. Why don't I just? I could just eat glass too, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the glass is half fuller. You know that, right?
When you're talking about Will Fuller, the glass is probably full of pee.
Or broken.
I am going to go ahead and take a departure from my normal strategy, though, because Deshaun is still available, and he's my third quarterback. He's my third quarterback, and it's the 7th round.
Oh, and here we go.
And,
Kevin
yeah,
takes
and now I've we're
You've
going to
started the run.
We're going to kick it off. I'm going to get Deshaun since all my other options are getting removed from me.
I'm still worried about Kevin's team, man. All he's got is Cam Akers at running back.
Hey, it's fine. He'll get Antonio Gibson in a second here. It'll be fine.
So he's got Kyler now.
There
after
goes
he
Will
just took
Fuller.
him. And then he's got Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins, Juju Smith-Schuster, and A.J. Green. So those are his 4 starters with his 3 wideouts and his flex. Then Mark Andrews at tight end. So he is going to beat you to death with his high-powered receivers, but ooh, those running backs.
And I got serious questions about those high power receivers.
You,
not feel
about
about
Juju? Yes.
But
Sure.
also, if AJ Green is healthy, for sure. But that's a big, big if.
I would
If AJ Green is healthy, he's got top 20 potential.
If AJ Green is healthy, he's got top 5 potential.
Sure.
He's so good.
I would like to apologize to you, Kev, because Neil, you pointed out that he's probably going to draft Antonio Gibson on the way back. He is not, because Antonio
Oh, there it goes. It's a good choice. 7-9, 7th round. You already have 3 solid running backs. It's kind of an insurance policy on that.
just pure upside play.
Yeah.
And the thing with Antonio Gibson is he's running with the first team. It's him and Adrian Peterson and J.D. McKissick. Right now, it's Peyton Barber and Bryce Love competing for the 2nd and 3rd team reps. Neither of them are guaranteed a lock on the team. They might keep 3 running backs, and if they do, it's going to be AP, Gibson, and J.D. McKissick. So
Yeah.
who's the most talented running back there? AP is obviously going to get fed, like he's going to be the new Jonathan Stewart, but
Peyton Barber. Can't tell me wrong.
go away. Go away.
I'm a Peyton Barber truther until I die. Or until he gets cut by the Redskins, whichever comes first.
What is the nerd going to do here?
Something crazy.
Evan Ingram.
Hayden Hurst, just to make sure he locks down his
Yeah, you got to
guy.
lock that Hayden Hurst in now.
Oh, actually, that's
Gordon
a smart
Howard.
pick. That's okay.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
Jordan
No,
Howard.
at this point in the draft, that's pretty good.
That's amazing. I was going to draft Jordan Howard.
I love running backs that are going to get 220 carries and average 3.2 yards a carry on them. Love that.
And two or 3 rushing touchdowns because the team is so bad.
Yeah. Keep me away from the Dolphins' backfield.
Yeah. Watch them make Matt Breida their goal line back. I know.
I was gonna say you don't love Matt Breida. What? Come on.
No. You know who I love though is and I'm blanking on his Patrick Laird. That's who I love.
There you go.
Oh God.
There is
Miles
one
Gaskin.
running back that I think has
Hashtag free Mark Walton.
a pretty.
From jail?
Yes, from jail. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pay his legal fees.
I don't know what to do here.
I'm so proud of our community for leaving Devontae Parker on the board.
I don't know. The auto pick is up next.
Yeah, the auto pick will take care of this problem. That's fine. It'll get Gronk out of here too.
Can you imagine if Preston Williams actually went before Devontae Parker? If we were doing a real league.
There it is. I said it.
And Tyler Boyd.
Yes.
Oh, good. Good.
Again,
now we don't have to deal with
that team
anymore.
in the 12 spot is just our do not draft list as a site.
It is actually. Tyreek and
It's literally all the people to avoid.
Oh, 8-1 Chase Edmonds.
Oh.
Because he's a skag. It's because he knows he is. I didn't even do anything to him this time. I didn't even provoke him. Like
This
the other
time.
times. The other time, yeah, no, it's an important distinction. The other times, I absolutely provoked him.
Neil, you're missing out on all your handcuffs here.
He took Jerry Jeudy before CD Lamb.
My running back room, Jordan, is turning into an utter quagmire. So we're gonna have to figure this out here at a certain level. We're gonna have to take a page out of Jack's book and start drafting other people's handcuffs as well, since that's what's happening to me. So
Are we going to break down the Jerry Jeudy pick? I thought that was a little early.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
very
early
early.
too.
that is wow.
Given that CD Lamb is still available, the internet's boyfriend, and I don't agree with it, but the internet's boyfriend, Deebo Samuel, is still out there. For me personally, and I think Steve as well, Jamison Crowder is still available.
I was about to make
Everybody
Jamison Crowder.
hates Jamison Crowder for reasons
Why?
that don't
Like-
make sense. They
He's
can't
so-
math. He
He's
plays
so
for the
un-
Jets.
He's so unsexy. That's why.
Mhm.
I would
He's
say,
going to catch 90 balls.
And so
So-
is Christian Kirk.
well done. That's a good
It's a
pick.
good one. Yep.
That's interesting. Yeah, for eighth round, yeah.
Week
There's-
1, 2, the 49ers are going to be missing their slot cornerback, K'Wan Williams. So Christian Kirk going to eat in the slot? Yes,
I don't think it is. We talked about this briefly in the NFC West show. I don't think it's a ridiculous thought to believe that Christian Kirk ends up leading the team in the receptions.
No, I agree.
I think you have to have some time to adjust to the offense for DeAndre Hopkins.
Well,
But he's not going to get force fed the way he was in Houston.
no,
it's
that's
just not going to happen.
That's not how the air raid runs. So the way the air raid works is they like perfect balance, but it's not perfect balance between the run and the pass. It's perfect balance between all 5 offensive playmakers, including the quarterback with 6, since they have a mobile guy like Kyler Murray. And so the better players get the ball more, but they still like to spread it around. In a perfect world, they would have a 20-20-20-20 split.
Right.
And so Hopkins is probably going to get more than that 20% split. He's probably going to get more targets than Fitzgerald, more targets than Dan Arnold, but they don't want that to happen.
Kevin gets Matt Breida to be his RB2 with Cam Akers in the
Ooh.
ugliest running back room I've ever seen.
Oof. Breida or Howard? Who do you guys prefer?
Howard.
Breida and PPR because he's going to catch some more passes. But
I just
I don't.
Breida for
here's the
me,
thing.
man. Like so
I don't
injury
think-
prone.
Breida's-
I don't want
Breida's-
either one. If you really want my actual answer, like I'm with Jack, I'd avoid the whole situation if I could.
Breida's injury prone, and I also don't know for sure he's going to catch any passes. And honestly, I don't think he's that good. In my Jordan Howard write up, I compared him to the any number of Kyle Shanahan running backs who are great in that system, but who weren't explosive, who weren't electric, who didn't test well, and then they go away from Kyle Shanahan and just bomb. That's my Breida to me. Jordan Howard, I know he's not sexy, but he's actually been a productive running back every year of his career.
Latavius
That's
Murray's a
fair.
good one.
Thank you.
Well,
There's
that's
other
the thing
people-
too is
people including me.
I would also take Jordan Howard because he's the goal line back. I think he gets the between the 20s work as well, so he'll have the volume. And you look at his career, he dealt with Tariq Cohen in Chicago. Then he went and dealt with Miles Sanders in Philly. Now he's got Matt Breida in Miami. It's not that he can't catch, which is what people assume. It's that he's just never been given the opportunity.
Mhm.
And if Breida gets hurt and Jordan Howard has the whole job to himself in Miami, he absolutely can be somebody that's flex worthy on a weekly basis.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, it's not like Matt Breida is this. He's not the pass catcher that any of those guys are either. Like, he's got target high of 36 targets in the season. Like, he's not. I don't think Matt Breida is going to go in there and just for sure be the third down satellite back. He's built like that. He's
CeeDee
just
Lamb.
slow.
Suddenly there's like a rookie run for no apparent reason.
Going back to your point, though, that's why Patrick Laird is still on the roster.
Yeah.
Good point.
And
I think it's a threat to Jordan Howard potentially catching passes. It's not Matt Breida. It's going to be Patrick Laird.
Well, and so the biggest reason people don't like Howard is because as a rookie, like his first 2 seasons in the league, he dropped 8 and 6 passes, but then he's only dropped 2 passes since. So, like, he's clearly worked on it. He's clearly improved. I don't know.
And not only that, but I mean, okay, he dropped passes. He's still been at the very worst in RB2 every year he's been healthy, even while dropping a couple balls. So, I don't understand the hatred for him.
Yeah, it's fantasy PTSD. They see those drop passes on the highlight reel, and they're just like, oh, I could have gotten so many points.
So we're in the 8th round. I'm looking at wide receiver here based on how the rest of my team has built. And I don't care what this ridiculous ADP says. I'm going with my top-ranked wideout. I'm going with the guy who's the number 1 wide receiver on his team. I don't care what your camp reports say. It's Darius Slayton.
Yeah, I was looking at him.
So was I, and I decided for Latavius Murray.
He was actually pretty close down. Like, he was just down the board. It wasn't too far down. I think I am going to draft the internet's boyfriend just because.
They have multiple boyfriends.
Yeah.
So I thought you were going to go with the guy who's actually ahead of him on ADP here.
No, I
there he goes. Deontay Johnson.
Deontay Johnson.
Going to again, both of these, I feel like it's good that we've got the auto picks in here. It's really helping get these players we don't want off the board.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Oh, Tevin Coleman at 8'11 was a nice choice.
Oh.
And he backed it up with
Damn,
carry on.
Mark.
But now after he took Saquon, he completely abandoned running back.
He did. So he's got one good
So
running back.
Tevin Coleman and Carryon Johnson are
Those
competing for his number 2 running back position.
That's not terrible value, 8 and 9, because those are guys that could steal the starting job. Like, I don't think they will, but
Yeah.
they'll definitely get their carries.
Fun fact, Raheem Mostert did not start a game last year, including playoffs.
It's true.
Yeah.
Carryon Johnson's not starting, though. He's got a knee brace bigger than my head. He's healthy, and he's still wearing a massive knee brace, and he's on record saying he can't move the way that DeAndre Swift can. Like, the guy's given up.
Yeah.
I have no idea what I'm doing with this pick.
Tyler Higbee.
I'd rather draft Gerald Everett, man. Like, that's just...
Gerald Everett for free? Yeah, that's...
Oh, God. Oh, sorry.
So I do want to ask you, not worried about the Jones fracture with Debo?
Well, they say that he could start week 1. I don't think he will, but he's not. I'm not starting him, so he can sit on my bench until he recovers. Like, if he was my 3rd wide receiver, I'd be concerned.
Yeah, I kind of took Debo off my draft board entirely.
I don't like that pick, but
I am really into
I
draft.
love that pick because it'll infuriate the nerd.
So I'm waiting for the Discord messages to start in the background because you just ruined somebody's day.
All right, so now with my next pick in the 9th round, I'm going to take the number 1 wide receiver on their team. I don't care what the camp reports say.
Is it Sterling Shepard or Golden Tate?
No, it's Preston Williams. We already know.
It's over. I already won. The league is over.
I do like Preston Williams a lot.
I got Preston Williams as my 5th wideout. I just
Me and Neil got
dumped
into
on
a
everybody
bidding
in
war.
this one.
Me and Neil got into a bit of a bidding war over Preston Williams in our other league. That league's fun. I'm excited for that league. That's a fun
Yeah,
Salary league, yeah.
Yeah, the salary league is a lot of fun.
Going back to Debo, though, I really like drafting him in the 9th round. So, like, 3 picks early from where I'm taking him on underdog all the time, Jordan.
Right.
And I'm not really worried about the Jones fracture either, just because he should be back soon. And that pass catching core outside of him is depleted. Like, they lost Jalen Hurd. Brandon Ayuk is hurt now.
All of their like low tier guys. Like,
JJ Nelson got hurt.
You're talking to the wrong guy to make that argument to, because I am still a very, very strong believer in Dante Pettis.
It's unfortunate.
He can't stop. He can't help himself.
So here's the thing. Dante Pettis is the most talented wide receiver on that team.
Didn't even start in the Super Bowl. He wasn't even active.
Do you know why? Had nothing to do with talent. Nothing to do with talent.
Not going to make the team.
Well, he is, because they don't have anyone else, but he's going
They
to
keep signing other people to
They
kick
signed
him off
Kevin
of the
White.
team.
They signed Kevin White. That's how desperate they are.
Speaking of desperate, A.J. Dillon went off the board right after. Jason's going to be pissed about that.
I don't understand why Boston Scott's a good pick.
Oh, Boston Scott's a good choice there.
I was thinking of that, but I thought it'd be too early. Guess I was wrong.
Boston Scott is his RB3.
I mean,
That's you need that. You need that in the 0 wide receiver, robust
depending
receiver.
how the Rams running back situation goes, that could be his RB1 compared to the other 2 guys.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
My whole concern about Debo this year was that he was going to be this year's Dante Pettis.
My concern with Debo now is it really is just a Jones fracture, and it's not about when he will be ready. He just – that injury has like a 20% chance of reoccurring and needing surgery. And I just worry about having a receiver who's probably not going to for the first potentially 2 to 3 weeks and then being gone for the rest of the season.
Sure.
But I do worry about like some of those things that are more predictive injuries. I do worry about that more than a lot of people do. Like that, one of the reasons I've never drafted Odell Beckham is because of his hamstring issues. I just don't like it. But that's just a personal thing for me.
Yeah, we talked about early in the offseason with Debo that when you actually like look at his numbers and break it down, yeah, he finished top 20 last year, but it's because it was propped up by the 2 weeks where George Kittle missed, and they just force-fed him the ball like he was George Kittle.
Yep.
So if you're projecting Debo Samuel as a top 20 wide receiver, then you're saying that George Kittle basically misses the whole year or isn't involved in the offense because they just don't throw it enough to have 2 guys with that level of volume.
Yeah, I'm very happy with him as my wide receiver 5.
Yeah, exactly. 4 or 5, I'm good with it.
I'm not thrilled with 4.
And that's how I was before the injury. And now because of the injury, it's kind of corrected his ADP to where I wanted him to begin with. So I feel better about it.
So Anthony Miller goes off the board right before me. I was heavily considering him, but instead of going for the wide receiver 2 on the Bears, I'm going for the wide receiver 1 with the Eagles. Jalen Reagor. He's going to get fed targets.
What about Greg Ward? He's getting all the hype. Come on.
JJ Arcega-Whiteside. Come on.
Yeah. Have you heard the training camp reports about Reagor? Apparently, he looks like a hybrid of Jeremy Maclin and Deshaun Jackson. That's pretty good height.
Is that a good thing? I don't even know if that's
So
a
he's
good
injury.
thing.
So he's
Yeah.
injury prone, is what you're telling me. So he's got a lot of injuries. Yeah.
Those guys just dominated.
Is it
training camp.
Macklin's hands and Deshaun Jackson's hamstrings? Because then, if that's the hybrid, I don't want any part of it. My goodness.
I think it's just the fact that they're in shorts and both those guys just eat.
Oh, okay.
The nerd just made a pretty good pick.
I'm
McCall
going to
Hardman.
take
I like that pick.
by far the best player that I have on my board. I don't know why this dude is following so much. I don't understand the hate around him. Manny Sanders.
Yeah.
I don't know. As
And
your
for my next
4th
pick-
wide receiver.
Yep, and for my 5th wide receiver, I'm going to take the actual number 1 wide receiver on the Eagles.
There goes Deshaun.
Jalen Rager 1.0.
Original version, apparently.
Can't wait for Deshaun to run all those clear outs and Rager just eat underneath.
Oh, the nerd actually made another one. Golden Tate in the 10th is a good choice.
Yeah. I just really like Deshaun Jackson this year. I really like Deshaun Jackson this year. I think I have all our mock drafts this year too.
Honestly, taking Tate in the 10th, I would have rather taken Tate in the 8th over Judy, to be honest.
Right.
All right, so it's my pick, and I've got 2 young bucks that I'm looking at. Not Bucks, they're not Buccaneers. Got a receiver and a running back, and I think I'm going to have to go with the running back, rolling with RB1 in New England, Damian Harris.
Nice. I like it.
10th round. Feels good.
Yeah, after I did my rankings update after our discussion the other day, I basically did exactly what we talked about. I flipped Sony Michel and Damian Harris in the site projections and my rankings.
Woo!
And I've got Damian Harris up at 51 in that territory with the young upside handcuffs.
Where he belongs.
Most mock drafts you'll do, like with people that aren't experts, he's gonna draw. Like I think he's starting to like rise a little bit, but I think he was such a great pick to have in the late rounds because there wasn't a lot of hype around him, but now there is just because like how heavy utilized he's being in training camp. But yeah, I like.
It's not a secret anymore. There's been a billion news reports. Yeah, Darrell Henderson in the 10th round's a nice choice coming up after.
See, I was thinking that Kevin had to get Darrell Henderson here with his next pick.
Yeah.
And now that option's gone.
That really hurt him.
Bryce Love. Oh, man.
Oh, that's
over Alexander Madison.
That's a
Kevin.
toughie. No, yeah, because now that
he
he did
still
that,
needs people that could potentially play.
I mean, I was taking Alexander Madison, so I'm glad he did it. But
took him over AP.
That's what I'll say. Over the starter.
Yeah.
The guy who might not make the team over the starter.
Yeah, and like, am I surprised if AP outscores Antonio Gibson? No, but Antonio Gibson's my RB4, so I'm okay with that. He's a pure upside play, whereas AP's just a floor. I don't
I don't think there's anything wrong with taking Antonio Gibson over AP because we know what AP is. We don't know what Antonio Gibson is. Like Antonio Gibson could be Chris Thompson, where he is still like a top 10 PPR wide or running back, despite only getting like 3 to 5 carries per game.
Mason took Henry Ruggs. That hurt. That's who I was deciding between with Damian Harris. But no, I completely agree with you, Aiden.
This is tough.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm going with mine.
There's some good value still here on the board.
There's a lot of good value on the board.
There it is. Looking at a guy, I think you are probably looking at the same person I am, and I won't be surprised if you take him. But
Great radio, guys.
I know, right?
Yeah, silence is great. Silence is always great radio.
Yeah. Steve's having trouble making his pick.
I am. I can't.
Well, it's because he took a huge victory lap after Preston Williams, and then just like
I won my draft.
I won the league. Yeah,
I did. I won. So now I just want to know, like, who else gets a ring? Like, who else?
That's the humility that you've
who
come
do
to
I,
expect
who do I
from
think
Steve
deserves the ring?
Steve, you should just go ahead and get a whole new personality.
Whole new personality.
Whole new personality. Like,
all right. Well, I mean, I feel like the best guy available here at running back is Hines.
That
again because of the PPR upside.
For sure, he's not making it.
But
well, I guess you do draft.
Given the craziness of this year, and the fact that I have Zeke, I'm taking Tony Pollard.
Yeah, it makes sense to do that there.
I have him ranked ahead of Hines, anyways, just because of that upside.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, that's good because I was taking Hines, so.
Oh.
Yeah. That's kind of what I figured. Like, I have Hines. Where is it? I have Hines at 47. I have Pollard at 40.
Yeah.
But Hines has a clear week-to-week role, whereas Pollard does not.
Also, can I just point out, auto draft 1, look at his tight ends. That's just woof. Wow.
You got Higbee with Ingram, stacked them up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, I guess it's my pick. So that's good. I was looking at 2 guys. Where's the other one? I just had him up. This is an opportunity play for me, just because I think he's going to be heavily targeted because they literally have nobody else besides Devontae Adams. Alan Lazard.
Yeah, Lazard I have ranked pretty high.
He wasn't coming back.
And then speaking of winning the league, let's go ahead and
2 rounds.
go ahead and get Johnny.
2 rounds early.
It's
My
over.
God, he's just reaching like a bear.
He is.
Well, I mean, Higbee was gone. Who else are you going to take?
They're tight. Hunter Henry's still on the board. Steve's got to reach 2 rounds early on Jadu.
So I took Jonnu as the 10th tight end. And by my projections and rankings, that's a steal, not a reach. So I'll take it. I don't care what ADP is telling me. Especially when we're in the 11th round. I know I only have, after this one, I only have 3 real players left. Because I have to get a defense and kicker at the end.
Austin Hooper's still on the board, too. I'm so conflicted about him. Like, I'm not taking him because I have Hayden Hurst. I'm not doubling up with that. That's just be stupid. But I think they paid him so much money to come to that team, and he did, what he did with Atlanta was, I think enough where they thought, oh, well, I think we can add you to our passing offense, and you can be productive. They don't really have much faith in Njoku anymore, so that's a guy I've been looking at.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. 11th round, I went ahead and took the actual starting running back for Washington and went ahead and got Adrian Peterson because my running backs are a little interesting because now it's Kenyon Drake, Jonathan Taylor, Mark Ingram. So far, so good. Then it's Latavius Murray and Alexander Madison, and the reason for that is because those guys are not going to be – well, they might be starting on my team with injuries. Who knows? But in all likelihood, those are things that I will end up trading. And then Adrian Peterson is kind of my old man knock-around running back. Great value this late.
At 11th round, absolutely. Great value.
Hunter Henry goes next.
Also, Keyshawn Vaughn went to Mason right after me.
He would have gone to me over AP.
So now he's got Dalvin Cook, Chris Carson with Mostert, A.J. Dillon, and Keyshawn Vaughn. I like the running back room he put together there.
Not as happy about the wide receiver room, though, for Mason. Because he's got Amari Cooper, Brandon Cooks, CeeDee Lamb, and Henry Ruggs. There is not a whole lot there in a league where you got to start.
There's not to love.
I don't.
Yeah.
You
got Kittle, which is good. You got Russ, which is fine.
It'll help you, but you're going to be really weak at wide receiver.
I feel like reaching on the QB early kind of cost him for his wide receiver depth.
So I think the Keyshawn Vaughn pick can spark a good discussion right now. I don't understand Keyshawn Vaughn over Dare Ogunbowale.
Dare Ogunbowale, yeah.
Keyshawn Vaughn has been getting one. He was I don't know if he actually got sick, but he was quarantined, missed a ton of time at camp. Dare's been working with Tom Brady. The Dare camp reports have been good. The Keyshawn reports have been bad, and he's with a coaching staff that notoriously does not use rookies. I don't understand the Keyshawn Vaughn over Dare and Ogunbowale. I don't understand it. And I would like, because I know, Neil, you just said you would have taken him. I would have.
It's upside.
It's upside. That you beat me to it. Yeah, it's a straight-up upside play. Dare Ogunbowale, I'm not going to argue with you about that too much. He's the pass-catching, third-down type of running back type of deal. But for me, it's all about Keyshawn Vaughn. He's going to have the opportunity. He's going to have the upside. It's just.
I don't think he's going to have the opportunity. Bruce Arians is talking about using him as a returner now, and we remember as a rookie, David Johnson, Mr. 4.3 touches a game, until he was forced to play David Johnson when Chris Johnson, who was washed at that point, got hurt, and he was playing Andre Ellington over him. So I'm really worried that we're looking at the exact same thing from Keyshawn.
I am too. I am too.
The only I get that side of it. But who else is on the roster right now? So it's Ronald Jones, it's Keyshawn Vaughn, and it's Dare Ogunbowale.
And LaShawn McCoy.
And LaShawn McCoy.
Which throws a wrench in everything, which I hate.
So if again, we saw last year when Rojo missed that block, all of a sudden he was done for like 3 weeks. And his whole rest of his season tanked. Are we saying that now LaShawn McCoy is just going to get all the reps ahead of Keyshawn Vaughn if something happens to Rojo or he gets benched for whatever reason? Because he plays like he has his entire career?
Andre Ellington did over David Johnson and Bruce
Right.
Arians' offense.
I was just about to say, based on Bruce Arians' history,
Yeah.
probably.
Like,
I don't know. It's hard for me to get behind a narrative from 2015 about Bruce Arians' coaching style.
we also have Captain Daria Gumbawale.
Right. And I'm fine with Dar Gumbawale having the pass catching role. This is another year though where it's easy for me to throw those narratives away when we don't know on a week to week basis what every roster is going to look like.
That's fair. I combined that, like, his history that we've seen with, again, all the negative reports coming out of Keyshawn Vaughn and what Bruce Arians has said he's going to do with him, which is use him exclusively on special teams. And that's my concern.
Yeah.
With my next 2 picks, though, I went Paris Campbell. I love the upside of Paris Campbell this year. People forget he's a speed freak. You want to talk about fast? Paris Campbell's fast, and I think he matches up well with what Phillip Rivers does, which is he can't throw the ball very far anymore. So I think they're going to – Frank Reich is a coach that can get his fast players in space, make a ton happen after the catch. And then my 12th pick, my final real pick, I guess, is Joshua Kelly, the actual starting running back for the Los Angeles Chargers.
I hate both of those picks, Aiden, because they were both in my queue.
I'm sorry.
Nice.
And now I am left to take running back Jerick McKinnon because I have been sucked back in. I am ready to be heard again, and so is Jerick. Right, Steve?
Yes, exactly. 100%. Just to finish that Tampa Bay thought, though, in this format, we have 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, tight end flex. So on a weekly basis, you have 8 regular players that you're starting. So realistically, you should be grabbing your 8 starters within the first 9 or at worst 10 rounds. Like if you want to get running back depth earlier, you can. If you want to double up on a position that normally you wouldn't, you can. But your starters are generally going to come out of those first 9 or 10 picks. So anything 11th round or later is all lottery ticket and upside.
Oh, for sure.
So I think like the point for me and Neil here on Vaughn is just that in the 11th round, Keyshawn Vaughn could become the starting running back at some point for Tampa and be the pass catching back at some point. Whereas Dar Gumbawale is definitely the pass catcher, but I don't think he's ever going to be an every down back in the NFL.
He's not big enough to
No,
actually
he is
really...
now the heaviest back on the roster, actually. He bulked up this past offseason. He's now the heaviest back on the roster outside.
What is he, like a fire hydrant now then? Because he's like, what is he, like 5'7"? Like it.
Yeah, I'm quoting the camp. Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird backfield. That's why I'd rather have.
They never lie at training camp either, Jack, as we know. the oracle of honesty.
That's just why I'd rather have Joshua Kelly than Keyshawn Vaughn. That's the point I'll make.
I'd rather have Joshua Kelly than a lot of people.
Same. I'd rather have Joshua Kelly than Austin Eckler.
Sammy Watkins in the 12th round. Oh,
I'd rather have Joshua Kelly over Jerick McKinnon, who I was forced to take.
That's quite fair.
Yeah. How's it feel, Jack? You got to draft next to Aiden. It sucks because he just takes all the things you want. Yeah, it's not a lot of fun. Yeah. Then he wonders why people lash out at him. And he wonders about it. Yeah.
Guys, if we weren't having these headbutts about you took my guy, I feel like we wouldn't be very good at our jobs. You know
that's true. Yeah, that's fair. I can't argue with that. I'll argue with you about literally everything else.
Yeah.
Because that's just good content.
To the death.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to do it. Come here, John Brown.
Well done.
Such good one.
The
pick after Sammy Watkins, steal.
Yeah, the fifth wide receiver on my team. I love being John Brown.
2 picks after Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, I feel great about getting John Brown there when people are over here. Well, especially when you look at the board and what's left. There's only one other receiver, that I could say you could actually really get excited about that are on about having at the back end of your team. The rest of it is kind of just guys. For me, there's 2 guys that are on here. Michael Pittman Jr. Cole Beasley is an interesting one, but Michael Pittman Jr. is more in the neighborhood of what I was talking about. And then Brian Edwards, if you want to talk about camp reports, my God, I've never heard more effusive praise of someone that I thought was like a roster.
If you follow the camp reports of the Las Vegas Raiders, they're all going to finish as top 10 players this year at every position.
It's because John Gruden praises everyone. It's such a ridiculous.
Except for Renfro for some reason. He just doesn't talk about him.
No. It's because he's trying to steal his girlfriend, as we learned in Hard Knocks last year. Yeah, he's way into that game plan.
Knock on wood if you're with me. Okay, man.
So this guy I'm drafting, I'm really high on. I might be drafting him a tad earlier than you should be going, but since wide receivers are going fast and furious, I am so in love with D.D. Westbrook this year.
I can't argue with this at this point in the draft when we're into the back end of like lottery tickets.
Again,
that makes a lot of sense.
We're in the 12th round right now. I can't honestly argue with any pick being made because it's all lottery tickets at this point. Take the guys that you believe in.
I'll argue against Sammy Watkins.
Yeah,
sure. No, me too.
That makes sense. Yeah,
that's the exception that proves the rule because I was going to argue about Sammy Watkins too.
I want to say this for the viewers at home. We are doing this mock draft for your all's benefit because we know this is the standard league that most people play in. If you can, convince your commissioner, get rid of kickers and defenses because
that'd be great.
There goes San Francisco's defense on the auto pick in the 13th
round. Yeah.
I cannot pick any more players because I need a quarterback still and a defense and a kicker and a tight end. And there's still quite a few players I think could really pay off in a big way that I cannot draft. I'm unable to draft them.
Mm-hmm.
So get rid of defensive kickers, get an extra spot on your bench.
So for my pick, like you look at running backs, it is like a wasteland right now because you're going to have to take upside plays. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take running back 1 in Pittsburgh.
That's right.
Yeah, that was the last good one. Was the last good lottery ticket.
Anthony McFarland goes to Jordan. What a pick. Would give that man a promotion.
Yep.
Just perfect.
All right. One more good running back that can pay off.
Jamal Williams?
No.
Rashad Penny?
Actually, Jamal Williams, I will put up there because I don't know why people like. I understand how big he is. I understand the draft investment, but the Packers, that coaching staff really likes Jamal Williams.
They just keep bringing him back every year. The fantasy community hates him.
Yeah, the only reason he wasn't involved last year is because of injury. But I'm not convinced A.J. Dillon supplanted Jamal Williams on the depth chart.
No, it sounds like that he's going to struggle to see the field early in the season.
Yeah,
I saw that report too. That they're saying A.J. Dillon's probably not going to get a lot of early.
Give me Coolio.
Run. That's a good choice. I'd rather have Coolio over Sammy Watkins. A full round later. Not to keep harping on this, Kevin, but
is it going through? This sleeper website does not want to cooperate with me right now. It really doesn't want me to take Robbie Anderson.
Which is another great pick. That's another guy I was considering.
Toss him in your queue just in case you time out.
I was just about to say that.
You click the flag next to him on the right.
This?
Yeah.
Like it's not even going to do it from there. Nope. Okay.
Great. Lovely.
Oh, it's going to time him out.
It's fine.
It's going to give him Carson Wentz.
So Daniel Jones and not Rashad Perriman. Rashad Perriman's replacing him, Robbie Anderson. Are you worried at all about Daniel Jones week 1 against the Steelers?
No. Am I worried at all about anything about Daniel Jones other than fumbles? Not really.
Fair.
See, it timed me out, but it didn't do anything.
Yeah, it's on my screen too. I'm not sure what's going on with the app.
I don't know.
I just refreshed the page and you have Robbie Anderson. And there's 26 seconds left for Mason to draft.
Okay.
Try that.
Yeah, just refresh the page.
Okay. Yep. Oh, he may not know to do that.
Yeah. This must be a like league-wide problem because like I guess we all had to refresh. I had to refresh as well.
Yeah.
All right, hold on, I paused it. Put a note in the chat here.
Yeah, just.
Who is he going to take next? He's going really heavy with the rookies. So rookies on Mason's roster. We have CeeDee Lamb, A.J. Dillon, Henry Ruggs, Keyshawn Vaughn, and Michael Pittman. So I'm guessing he's going with another rookie.
Those are all in a row as well.
Yeah.
5 straight. I mean, it's not a terrible idea because like those are like they have decent opportunities, but I wouldn't do it just because there's too much risk involved, especially like with a like not a traditional off season.
The shortest receiver to go for 1,000 yards with Phillip Rivers is Keenan Allen, who's 6'2", 6'3", and Michael Pittman is 6'4".
Yep.
And I am back up. And boy, you were not kidding, Jordan, when you said running back is a wasteland, because I've been perusing it, waiting for it to come back around, and it is an utter wasteland. But you know what's not a wasteland? What is absolutely not a wasteland is wide receiver, because Mr. Randall Cobb was still available. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I think that's an exceptional pick. I'm just not hate you for Randall Cobb either.
Washed. It's the same.
Washed.
It's
Done.
the same narrative.
He's done. Yeah. Deshaun's bad.
Speaking of dead, next pick Hunter Renfrow.
Not because he's old, just because Gruden doesn't make logical sense.
Chris Herndon off the board before I pick.
Well, Chris turned it off the board before like 5 other tight ends that I think are better than
I know. I actually
I'm really confused by that.
I like Chris Herndon a lot, but I would have taken a couple guys that I'm going to.
Yeah.
It's Herndon's pure upside at this point. Like everything I hear is that he has massive opportunity ahead of him, but
I hear that every year. And then he gets suspended for 4 games.
He's yet to be seen.
So I don't want to take Austin Hooper here because I do have Odell as well, but the value is just too good. I have him as the highest rated tight end on the board left. I have him at tight end 7, and my next closest tight end is tight end 9, so close enough. But
I can't believe he's like.
I'm still taking Austin Hooper.
That is like unreal value at the 13th round.
13th round. I don't think I've ever seen Austin Hooper go that late.
Well, I think it's when you look at it, we've all kind of subscribed to the idea that you wait on tight end. Either you reach early for a really elite one, or you wait until later.
Or you're the computer and you draft.
Or you're the computer and you draft them heavily.
Yep.
Ingram and Higbee.
I also like
Ingram and Higbee at value. Yeah.
I also like that we are. As a group here, we're all kind of in the same mindset of I will take one quarterback and one tight end and be good with working the waiver wire.
Same.
That's just how it's going to have to be this year.
And my 13th, in the end of the 13th round, I'll take my first and only tight end. Also the number 1 target for his team.
How dare you?
Mr. Mike Gesicki. And I have to take a quarterback.
Preston Williams, truth or be damned.
Mike Gesicki is terrible at football. You can't argue that people are good at football or bad, and then look at Mike Gesicki, who was 22nd out of 22 qualified tight ends in efficiency last year, and say that Mike Gesicki is somehow good at football.
No tight end has underperformed their athleticism in the history of college football and the NFL worse than Mike Gesicki. Athletic freak, can't play football.
No, he's terrible. He's getting so much hype this offseason for no reason.
We're going to have a Zoom meeting where we watch film so I can prove to you guys that you're wrong.
So how did he average under 10 yards a catch in his senior season in college? How? If he's this freak athlete, how was he not averaging over 10 yards per catch?
He was awful last year.
He was saving himself.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
What?
Oh, I like that. I like that take. That's quite the take. That's a good one.
My quarterback in the 14th round, I'm going to take a guy I believe in. I'm a huge fan of this guy. I'm ready for the bounce back. Let's go Cam.
Ooh,
Yes, we
love
can.
that.
Yeah, that's the one
That's
I
a
would have
good
taken right there
That's
too.
good.
Yeah.
I can't find it offhand because I didn't think we'd have to have this debate. But Mike Gesicki last year, it infuriates me to no end that everybody wants to completely dismiss the 8 games from Preston Williams at the beginning of the year because it's too small a sample size. But the 8 games at the end of the year when there was no Preston Williams, let's look at those numbers for Parker and Gesicki and just go purely based on that. That makes logical sense somehow.
I will actually agree with you, even though I'm clearly on the Mike Gesicki side of this discussion, because I don't hate Preston Williams the way other people do. I agree with you. I'm actually the player that I think takes a step down is Devontae Parker.
Yes.
And you're
I
correct.
mean, I've seen him play for 5 years. I don't think he's, I do think that Mike Gesicki, he was inefficient last year, but he was a rookie tight end. Like, it's a hard position to play. It's a hard position to adapt to. I do think he takes a step forward, and I do think that Preston Williams takes a big step forward. I think Devontae Parker kind of goes back to being what we're used to him being. Even when, like, what round did Devontae Parker go in?
First. Oh, sorry, of the draft.
Yeah. The 7th round to the auto pick team.
Which is actually where he goes in most mocks that you do, either staff or no. Like, that's usually about.
And I was gonna say, like, I saw him sitting there and thought it was a value and still couldn't do it. So I'm just not a believer in Devontae Parker. I'd
argue 7th is sticker price for what I'm seeing for Devontae Parker. That's pretty much what it costs.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
for example, he's going in the same neighborhood as Michael Gallup, Aiden. And if you're telling me that I could have Michael Gallup or Devontae Parker for the same price, that's not a conversation. Like,
I want Michael Gallup.
That's not a discussion.
And the sad part is about his high ADP is that you're probably going to draft somebody who's not really aware of, like, the Miami Dolphins receiver room, and they'll see that high ADP and be like, oh, this guy must be pretty good, and they'll get bamboozled.
I feel bad for people who this might be their first year playing fantasy football.
Yeah.
By the way, Mike Gesicki, that was his 2nd year last year.
Oh, it was?
Yeah. Not his rookie year.
Yes, it was.
Oh, it should have been the sophomore.
Oh, man.
The sophomore season at tight end is usually supposed to be a lot better than that, man.
I don't know why I thought he was a rookie.
So
Jack, I love that. Real quick. I love the 14th round Steven Sims.
Thank you. So back to Mike Gesicki. He was 36th out of 44 qualifying tight ends per PFF in yards after catch per reception. The only tight ends that he was better than were Eifert, Witten, Cameron Brate, Hunter Henry, which is kind of surprising to see him that low, Caden Smith, Zach Ertz, and Delaney Walker. All old men. And Hunter Henry.
Whose knees have been shattered on multiple occasions.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately.
Yes.
My tight end will be actually a guy going into his sophomore year that I think actually will easily have a better year than Mike Gesicki's 2nd year. Mr. Noah Fant.
Knew it.
To get him in the 14th, that's a crazy value.
I'll take the Noah Fant the 14th. I can't believe he made it all the way back to me.
Yeah, I was going to take him. That's why I queued up.
The Denver homer.
That's
I
right.
will also say,
That's right. Fight me, Jack. Get on a plane. Come on down here and fight me.
to defend Mike Gesicki and his efficiency, he was 39th in the NFL in terms of catchable target rate, and he 31st in target quality.
Sorry, Aiden, another rookie for Mason. He also gets Brian Edwards to go with the pile of rookies. Sorry, I had to jump in there because it's too good. Can't make that up.
Can we turn this into a league?
Steve would like that.
I would love.
How much do you want to play Steve for? $100?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I actually have an okay team, so I'm probably not that. But I'll be all right.
Can we talk about how Miles Boykin went ahead of Brian Edwards? No, thank you.
No, we can't talk about that because we're going to scrub these files, and we're going to start this all over again. And
can we talk about how I just got Cole Beasley in the 14th round?
It was between him and
because people
Steven
just
Sims.
hate winning.
People hate Cole Beasley, certainly. They definitely hate Cole Beasley.
I took Sims over Beasley because Sims, I think, is the second option in that offense, even though it's a worse offense, whereas Beasley's the 2 or the 3. But you're splitting hairs. It's a fantastic value, Steve.
Agreed.
There's still decent value with wide receivers.
There's so many good wide receivers left.
I'm
I
not
would
even gonna look
like,
at running backs, tight end. Like if Noah Fant dropped, I would have taken him. I'm not going to touch Jared Cook. So I am going to bite the bullet on a defense. As my third last pick.
Ooh,
Get
okay.
it started.
In the
If I
14th
could
round,
draft
not
a
crazy.
defense.
Yeah, no, it's like 2 picks ahead of where we normally tell people to do it. I'm not really worried about that.
Justin Kicker and LaShawn McCoy.
If I could,
Yeah, Justin Kicker.
if I could take a wide receiver, I'd still take a shot on N'Keal Harry. Mike Williams, I understand the injury, but I still think he should be drafted. Larry Fitzgerald's still there.
Josh
I know
Reynolds is still on this page.
Up, but Alshon Jeffrey, when he's healthy, is good for fantasy. I like Mohamed Sanu, Josh Reynolds. I love Denzel Mims.
So to your point, Aiden, there's so many guys left that I'm just gonna go right ahead and just get the kicker done with because I hate drafting kickers. But I'll take one of the elite guys and just have a guy that I can consistently use and only have to replace during the bye week. Because when you're streaming kickers, that's when you know you're at your lowest point.
All right.
Bills defense off the board to Steve.
Yeah, I mean, I got him ranked top 4. It's a defense. It is what it is. Mostly I stream defense. Neil got me into that a few years ago. Subscribed to his way of thinking there. And they opened the year with the Jets and Dolphins. So
perfect.
Yeah, I really can't go wrong there.
Yeah.
You've got
for at least 2 weeks, I've got a defense set.
So are you Bills Mafia?
For 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks, yeah.
And, although I did go back-to-back with Cole Beasley, and I own Zach Moss. So apparently, yes, I am
why I was
Bills
asking.
Mafia.
All right, well, get him his table, and
There
we'll
it
light it
is.
on fire, and we'll body slam him through it, because that's
Perfect.
Mafia.
The ceremonial start to the season.
I was definitely the Bills Mafia of our staff last year. I think it was both the
I
important.
wouldn't say
nonsense
last year like
athlete.
it stopped.
Yeah, like it never ended.
Here's the thing: Bills players are good, and they're just such good value. So I wound up with them on my team a lot. Stephon Diggs is a value. Cole Beasley is a value. Zach Moss is a value. Devin Singletary, I think you're paying sticker price, and I'm not interested.
Well, I already see that Jack does not have a defense or a kicker either.
Nope.
So that means that Teddy Bridgewater is not going to be drafted.
Oh, that's a shame.
That is a shame.
I will
He
take the
deserves
Bears
it.
for my defense
But
because
I'm
I
just
had
gonna
I had to
throw
confirm
it
it.
out there.
They're playing the Lions and the Giants to start the season, and theoretically, it's a top 5 defense still. And I'm getting into the 15th round, so if it flames out, it doesn't matter. Cut it, start over again. I'm a big believer in streaming defenses. There's no reason to ever pay for defenses. You just play matchups and figure it out.
Evan, with the strategy of drafting a kicker before a defense, I'm not an advocate of that, but I know a lot of people that do. Because I feel like kicker is just like kicker is just so.
I treat it the same way I treat defense, Jordan. Literally doesn't matter. Stream it through.
Yeah. Speaking of streaming, I am going to take the Philadelphia Eagles defense because they play the team in week 1. And that team, the team has no offensive line.
Yeah.
The team. God, I hate that name.
I do too.
I mean, I'm fine with the taking the kicker first because to Neil's point with the streaming defenses, if you're playing the matchups or like Jack said with taking the Eagles, a team that maybe is lower in ADP, defensively, you might be able to wait till the 16th round. Whereas a guy like Tucker or Butker or Lutz on a high-powered defense.
Aiden, you can probably attest to this. I'm a Colts fan, and that is way too early. The Colts
the Colts is an interesting one, but not there.
Not be drafted.
No.
They face the Jags.
I disagree with
One,
that.
though.
Oh, that could be why. Okay, if they
Week
play the
one
Jags
versus
week
Jags.
1.
Yeah, but you know what? He'll still throw a ton. Like I can still see that game being like a 31-28 game.
Yeah, I can see Gardner Minshew. I mean, yeah, I'm with you. I'm also a Colts fan. The defense, I think, is being slept on since they
Yeah,
added.
no, I'm not saying they're bad.
No. I wasn't talking about the Colts. I'm saying who I'm going to take for my defense. This is going to be defense stock at the end of the draft here. The number one defense, I think, is being undervalued in fantasy drafts if you're playing with the defense. Seattle Seahawks. They were pretty good last year, and they added Jamal Adams. And I need to find the stats I had down earlier so I can send to you guys. The difference between the Jets defense when Jamal Adams was on the field versus off is insane. Like Jamal Adams alone really makes a huge difference for defenses. Yeah. For kicker, I guess I'll just take whatever.
Rodrigo Blankenship. Oh,
this dude.
Rodrigo. Are you not worried about the Falcons week 1 versus the Seahawks, Aiden?
I mean, I think that the Falcons, even the Seahawks, can keep them out of the end zone. I think they're going to be able to at least kick a bunch of field goals.
You think the Falcons are going to kick a lot of field goals?
Yeah.
Well, that's good because I'm drafting Young Hoi Koo.
Do you get points for onside kicks?
Yeah.
You should.
Legitimately the most impressive thing I've ever seen. Like, what are the odds that you'd be able to do that 3 consecutive times? That's ridiculous. Like,
He's pretty phenomenal.
He's not super accurate.
He was getting better, and the Falcons score enough points that it doesn't matter.
His rookie year, though, that first season, man, just 35 yards, here comes Koo. Not even close.
But he plays with the Falcons. He's going to get lots of chances to kick field goals, so he's going to make some of them. It's fine. We're fine. Everything's fine.
You know, the meme for that is the house being on fire, right?
No, and back to Steve's point about kickers before defense. I actually would have taken Will Lutz over the Eagles defense, but once he went off the board, like I find it very interchangeable between the rest of the kickers after Lutz, Butker, and Tucker. So
I like Zerline this year, but I agree. There's only like a handful of guys that are like the elite, the top tier kickers, and then the rest are just the same.
We're on video. You can do elite in little.
Yeah. Can I draft Pat McAfee?
Matt Prater, awesome. Love guys. If you're gonna get a kicker, if you got to play kickers, I love it when they can kick them from over 50.
And they play indoors.
Exactly. Yep. And they have a certain level of familiarity. They've been with the team for a long time, so they're not just gonna like suddenly they miss one and it's like, nope, get the hook, like get the old vaudeville hook out.
Well, remember Jason Hansen kicked for like 45 years with the Lions, all indoors. Prater is great. Matt Gay, great pick as well. Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to put up a lot of points. Going to be kicking a lot of field
especially
goals.
At the beginning of the year. Like if they stall out, he'll have a lot of field goal opportunities for the first half of the season.
Mr. Irrelevant, N'Keal Harry.
Oh, he made it. He made it in.
It's one of the few picks I actually like from that auto draft team. Good for them.
Oh, both auto draft teams. Well, the other auto draft team got Larry Fitz at the end.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not horrible for the end of the draft. I could live with that. Like, that'd be good.
Yeah,
so what do you guys think of your teams? Looks like we'll go in order. We'll start with Jordan. So Jordan, you got Alvin Kamara, Austin Eckler as your starting running backs with Dak. You've got Allen Robinson, Calvin Ridley, Terry McLaurin. Your flex situation is looking interesting. What are you looking at? Like James White maybe or Naheem Hines?
That would be the initial guy I look at. Depending on what happens to Devo, I probably wouldn't play him right away. I would go with White until one of the other guys on my team, shows that they can be started. I kind of think I did reach on Hayden Hurst just because I scrambled, didn't know who to pick. I think it's okay. I do like that I got Mike Williams. I think that was a really good value pick. Hopefully, once he comes back, he can contribute to that team. But we'll see. But I think it's okay. I think that it went well.
In the 4th spot, I got Zeke with Todd Gurley. I have Daniel Jones because I have Daniel Jones everywhere. I have Jonnu because I have Jonnu pretty much everywhere except Wes in the PFF league sniped me. And then I got Mike Evans, Cortland Sutton, and T.Y. Hilton. And then Darius Slayton and Preston Williams fighting to the death to be my flex on a weekly basis. Yeah, you already know how I feel about my team. Neil,
incredibly loud victory laugh wasn't enough of a tell.
No. Neil, you got Deshaun, so I love that.
I feel pretty good about my team, but it's got a couple weird idiosyncrasies to it.
You got Kenyon Drake. Your RB2 is probably Mark Ingram to start, and then at some point Jonathan Taylor.
It's one of those, but given how my team actually works, one of those guys might actually play flex.
Okay. And then you've got Michael Thomas, Robert Woods, and Jarvis Landry. You got Shepard at a decent value.
Yep.
Brown and Cobb late. Noah Fant is your starting tight end. Very late for that. So, yeah, I think you came out pretty good.
My bench I enjoyed as well because my bench, Latavius Murray, Alexander Madison, and then I got 3 screaming values to end the draft, which I think actually kind of saved my team a little bit with Adrian Peterson, John Brown, and Randall Cobb. And especially having the bargaining chips of Latavius Murray and Alexander Madison in my pocket because somebody decided to take Chase Edmonds from me, who will remain nameless, Aiden. And then I got auto-picked out of my other 2 handcuffs, so I pivoted to Jack's strategy of, okay, fine, well, I guess we're just going to take other people's
I'll own everybody else's handcuffs.
And that's the way that broke down. I think I came out pretty well. Not
Jack,
great, well.
You got Tom Brady. And then you've got Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb with Fournette as your flex.
Robust RB.
OBJ, Stephon Diggs, and Marvin Jones at wide receiver. You've got Kirk and Rager as upside guys. Damian Harris, Antonio Gibson, Jerick McKinnon. Austin Hooper's your starting tight end. How do you feel about your team?
Pretty thrilled. Obviously, I started at robust RB, so I'm always happy whenever that ends up being able to happen. Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Leonard Fournette. I don't know. I have 3 top running backs. And
right.
I'm the only roster that went 3 running backs in the first couple rounds. But then to get Odell and Stephon Diggs as my wide receiver 1 and 2, big fan of that. Marvin Jones probably he's gonna be the guy to start the year, but the more reliable player by the end of the year will probably be Christian Kirk. So I like having that upside with Marvin Jones. Remember that 4-touchdown game against the Vikings? That's the upside. Kirk is just going to be a target monster this year. And then with the bench, we've got the upside of Antonio Gibson and Damian Harris, who could be the team's RB1 by the end of the season. Jalen Reagor, who's already the wide receiver 1, despite what Aiden will tell you. And then Jerick McKinnon, keeping a candle lit for him. It's the 49ers offense, and investing in the least expensive running back there is always a good idea. So, yeah,
I like it. Aiden, you got Julio Jones, Chris Godwin, and Adam Thielen. You've got Cam as your starting quarterback. Mike Gesicki is your tight end. David Johnson, and then your RB2 is Kareem Hunt or Swift, probably depending on where it is in the season. Maybe Chase Edmonds if something happens to Kenyon Drake, or Phillip Lindsay if something happens with Melvin Gordon. You've got some depth in wide receiver on the bench. How do you feel you came out of this draft? You got yourself muted.
Sorry about that.
You're good.
I feel great about my team. I love this team. Again, full PPR, 3 wide receivers. I feel like I have the best wide receivers in the room with Julio Jones, Chris Godwin, Adam
you
Thielen.
can feel that way.
You can able to
I would disagree, but you could feel that way.
No. These guys are – I have them all as wide receiver 1s in full PPR, especially Julio Jones and Chris Godwin, I think, have monster upside as well as being models of consistency. Same with Adam Thielen. I was a little worried about my running backs. I'm a big fan of David Johnson this year, but my running back 2 felt a little weak with Kareem Hunt. But I think for that on my bench with Phillip Lindsay and Chase Edmonds, these 2 are due to camp reports. I don't really listen to the rosy side of camp because everyone is doing an amazing job, but Melvin Gordon has been struggling and Phillip Lindsay is pretty good, pretty efficient. So I think he'll have a role there. Chase Edmonds, someone who I think is going to be splitting more time with Kenyon Drake than other people do. So I think that Chase Edmonds has flex appeal, potential RB2 upside with how many plays I think that team is going to run, even without an injury to Kenyon Drake. And then, of course, I have Joshua Kelly as my last skill position player. I think Joshua Kelly is the between the tackles guy in LA, which is going to give me some sort of value. I think he's got upside for more. And, yeah, my receiver depth is amazing with high upside plays like Paris Campbell, Deshaun Jackson, Manny Sanders. Love this team.
Cut your tight end sucks.
All right, Neil, where can the people find you on the socials?
You can argue with me on the Fantasy Life app, Twitter, and soon to be Reddit at nonsense_Neil. And check out all the awesome tools that we uploaded for draft weekend to the Important Nonsense website. And if you're looking to make some preseason trades, check out the trade table that just went up on Friday.
Jack, go ahead. Where can they find you?
You can find me on all of the socials at Javanaugh87. Thanks for tuning in. This was an absolute blast.
Aiden, where can they find you on the socials?
You can find me at Fantasy Aware on the Fantasy Life app. You can also find me on FF Aware on Twitter. I'd be happy to argue with you about Juju Smith-Schuster right on over there.
Jordan, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Donald McJordan, and you can find me on the Fantasy Life app with the same name at Donald McJordan.
You can find me at nonsense_Steve. Of course, follow the site everywhere, Twitter, Facebook, Fantasy Life, all that at NonsenseFF. Thank you for watching and joining us for this. If you didn't watch along through the YouTube channel and you're just listening on the podcast, go back, watch the YouTube video. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Hit the bell so you see everything. Yes, Jack's blowing you kisses, and you can only see that if you're watching it on the YouTube channel. So
it'll really help fill in the blanks for the podcast.
Exactly.
You watch it on the YouTube. Watch this one with the YouTube companion. I think it'll really help.
So until next time, just keep up the nonsense.
Music for this podcast is provided by Lee Rosevere. I'm Tim Kitzer from NBA Jam and NFL Blitz, and you can find all the guys at ImportantNonsense.com. Kaboom!